lost mine in the sand. Where will you stand?
Welcome back to Modain, Hanok. Been a kind of
Yeah.
whirlwind trip here, and now you get into Israel. By the way, just quick question: is there snow or anything now that you're there?
No.
Okay, well that is broken now. You just brought snow to the United States, not back to Israel. So, uh, difficult day for everyone there. I'm sure. I saw even the air traffic control tower at Ben Gurion was lit up with orange uh, on this day, and
Yeah.
I know that everybody there is mourning.
The thing that's astounding is we lost tens of young children
Yeah,
slaughtered horribly on October 7th, burned alive, limbs cut off, horrific, raped and killed. But they remain faceless to the world.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas Ariel and Kfir Bibas, because of their cute red hair as well, and the fact that they were kidnapped as hostages, they've received the attention.
yeah. They became
But
the face of this. Yeah,
right. But other than us that love Israel, when I say us, clearly the people that will be listening to this video, other than us, nobody cares.
yeah,
See, that's the whole thing. You can you can kidnap and murder Jewish kids, and it doesn't matter. I saw a picture today on Facebook, and it struck me. It's a very famous photograph of a Nazi soldier with a rifle about to shoot a woman, a Jewish woman clutching her baby.
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, that picture was taken in Ukraine, by the way.
Oh,
Just an interesting little anecdote. And next to it was a picture of Shiri, Kfir, and Ariel Bibas. May Hashem avenge their blood. Hashem and the IDF avenge their blood. And it's like we said never again. We pledged never again.
yeah,
And the world, this is time. I'm using a phrase that one of my friends in the States taught me: show up and grow up. This is a time where the world should have done something, and they're not.
no, no.
Um, so it is an incredibly hard day. Lots more hard days to come. Hamas is gearing up for a renewal of the fighting. When exactly that will happen, we don't know, but people misunderstood these ceremonies that they've been doing for the
Yeah,
hostages. It's not just for the international world, but it's for inside of Gaza. It's
yeah.
to show the Gazans
Totally.
that they're still in control.
Yeah,
And it's really bad. Now, on the other hand, a week ago, the funeral of Nasrallah. Now, we killed Nasrallah months ago. They finally
hmm
got around to his funeral. Said this ceremony in a big stadium, soccer, excuse me, sorry. Um, and we sent 4 jets to buzz it and fly low over it. Um, it's a shame we didn't drop any munitions. Um, we could have been that much ahead of the game.
Yeah, I was
However,
really on that.
yeah,
I was really surprised that there was no media outcry, or at least I didn't see any from that.
yeah.
It's like Israel's provoking the war kind of thing. I guess they missed
So,
it.
yeah, the situation in Lebanon
Yeah.
remains as confused and as indefinite. Um, you know, I mean, to expect the Lebanese army to intervene and clear out Hezbollah, they were supposed to do that from back in 2004, it's not going to happen.
No, no.
Meanwhile, we've got Syria. Israel is demanding that the border region, southern Syria, that borders us, be demilitarized. Syria is demanding that we withdraw from that little border area.
hmm
The Druze, we've extended our protection to the Druze in Syria. I mean, and then to top it off, President Trump has an AI video of the images of the future Gaza, and you see the hotel. It says Trump Gaza. It says Trump Gaza. It shows Elon Musk eating hummus. Trust me, I can recognize someone eating hummus. And at the end, it shows Trump and Bibi on lounge chairs sunbathing. So I'm barely at the beginnings of jet lag,
Yeah.
but even at my sharpest, I'm not sure I could grasp the whole rationale for putting that out.
Well,
Honestly,
the rationale here is, I think it's in bad taste to begin with. On the day that the funerals for the Bibas family,
yeah,
Yarden Bibas is, at morning, and then the AI video comes out on that day. I think it's in very, very bad taste, considering there's still hostages there. You mentioned Ukraine, by the way. I saw a report yesterday that Israel was taking a little bit of heat for not standing with Ukraine at the United Nations, where in
right,
fact, Ukraine had voted against Israel over 140 times, abstained
right.
something like 48 times, and had never
Astounding.
voted once for Israel to stand with Israel. So
Yeah,
who cares?
yeah. We owe nothing to Ukraine.
No.
We in Israel owe nothing to Ukraine. And this idea that the Ukrainians fought against the Nazis, I mean, Ukrainian nationals slaughtered a horrific amount of Jews. We know that. You can't whitewash history. It is interesting to see the conflict now between President Trump and Zelensky. But that's one conflict that we're not getting in the middle of.
Yeah, and the other thing is
But
there's a
yeah,
business, it's a business deal too. You talk about
yes, there
history.
is.
Let me bring this up while I think about it. I don't know if you saw the report. You probably did because you see everything coming out of there. But it appears that Rav Mir Kahana, is getting some honor these days because of the videos and teachings he had done, which pretty much laid out what's going on today.
It it's
That brings a smile to your
astounding.
face. I know.
It's astounding for me to have been, I was in America at the time, of course, and to have heard President Trump talk about, see, in Israel, the term transfer, and by the way, in Hebrew, it said transfer. So it's one word, it's the same word.
Okay.
To move the Arab, I mean, Rav Kahana warned us. The Arabs in Judea and Samaria is a ticking time bomb. So here it is, we're rolling tanks in and around Jenin, where we had to clear it out in 2002. A friend of mine from college, his son was killed in combat in Jenin back in 2002. I mean, this is we're in this repetitive cycle, it
Hmm.
appears. I would love to tell you that the Israeli government is firmly behind the idea of moving out hostile Arab populations. It's not true.
No,
It's not true.
no.
But again, there seems to be a big gap between what people want to believe and what the truth is.
Hmm.
And we'll get back to Rav Khan in a second, because it's very emotional for me. It's exhausting physically and emotionally to do these trips in America. I mean, most of the people in the world that I care to hang out with are in the US. I'm a fish out of water outside of Israel. It's an odd combination.
Yeah.
But having said that, when people ask me, so you're praying on the Temple Mount, but have you guys started building yet? And the blowback that I got by saying that the idea that there are people who believe that President Trump will build a third temple, I get pushback from them saying, well,
Yeah.
why, and like, have you all forgotten the Dome of the Rock continues to sit there?
Hmm. Yeah,
Or when people said to me, so I hear Israel controls all of Syria now. I mean, where have you guys
yeah,
been?
yeah. I know.
What are you putting in your coffee?
I know. It's a little on the crazy side still. But that's just the days that we live in. So, did you have something more about Rav Kahana?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was seeing on Instagram some influencer, and I love that. That's a thing you could become now.
Yeah.
Used to be like doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. When now you can be an influencer. One of the influencers put up a thing where he said that, the Arabs only respect strength.
Hmm.
If you negotiate, if you provide concessions, they see that as weakness. Well, she got an enormous amount of pushback, including from some American Jews on the liberal side of the world. And they also came out against conceptually the idea that President Trump had to move them out of Gaza.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's temporary, and you know what? Within the Talmud, there is a teaching that tells us that he, or I guess she as well, he or she, who is merciful to the cruel, is destined to become cruel to the merciful. So here it
Hmm.
is. We are like, oh no, we can't move them. Seriously?
Yeah.
As they're training
Yeah.
and pledging for future October 7th.
Exactly. Uh, Tanks in Jenin. Okay, that has not been since the Oslo War, the Second Intifada.
Yeah.
Um, the other the other thing I want to ask you about is Ramadan begins the end of this month or first of February 28 or March 1st,
Yeah,
depending
the
on
next few days
the calendar, and goes for the whole month of March. Do
this
you
year. Yeah.
see Ramadan affecting the work of High on the Har with the Harabite at the Temple Mount?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a very problematic month coming up on many levels. Um, our security services are suggesting that we limit the age of Muslims that ascend the Temple Mount during
Yeah.
Ramadan, keeping the younger ones that cause all the trouble and the riots and the attacks off. Whether my government will go for that or not, I don't know. It's
I'm
going to be
going to
a
be
tough month.
surprised if they do, because it would be the first time that I could see that Israel had a backbone, or the political leaders had a backbone at all. You've got hostages still being held, about 30 of them probably maybe still alive, and you're going to allow this that is just. I know you haven't been back late long. Can you give any kind of an idea of what these is? Do you feel like, with maybe your limited uh, interaction right now, that anything has changed regarding the attitude with the Bibas family, with those that came out emancipated, all these, or
Yeah,
emaciate, what is the word? They looked like they came out of the
emaciated.
Shoah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah. Um, Amongst the majority of Israeli society, because I've been tracking these trends
okay,
from the moment it began, much of our society will never be the same again.
sure,
And a lot of that is areas of improvement. The ultra Orthodox, the Haredi segment of our society, which again is about 20 to 21%, and growing because, having 10 children in a Haredi family is not unusual. It's not unusual at all.
mm.
And to have multiple siblings in a family having, 8, 10, 12 kids is also not unusual.
And that's all government
Um,
supported.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea that they still believe internally, they've internalized as a community that they don't need to serve in the IDF when we are short combat troops. Now, the thing that's interesting is we did read about a number of Haredi men who went shortly after the war broke out and volunteered to serve. The vast majority, however, were above the age of 28.
Mm,
meaning they would not serve in a combat unit, nor would they serve a full 3 years.
yeah,
We need combat soldiers.
yeah.
We need, okay, so this is part of the mix. Netanyahu has gained a lot of credibility in internal polls because of Trump's support. It's very interesting how each of these factors interplay with the other one. Um, Now, the taxi driver that took me from the airport yesterday was complaining that there's no tourism. So, I said the
You're a great
Hebrew
one to
equivalent,
complain
like,
to.
yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. He said, and this is kind of, he said, 2 weeks ago, a French couple got in his car and he got excited because they didn't speak Hebrew. He assumed they were tourists. Turns out they have family in Netanya, which is why they were here. But anyway, neither here nor there. So he's talking about, don't worry, tourism's going to get better. You'll see, it'll stabilize. We'll have a ceasefire. And although I was tired out of my I was like in another body, I said to him, we can no longer talk about ceasefires. Ceasefires don't work. Either we crush them, and see, and again, I'm switching gears. This is the problem. Despite what Netanyahu kept saying to the public, we chose, he chose, our government chose not to fully defeat Hamas, to try to get the hostages out.
Hmm.
And for those who are listening saying, don't you worry, Hanoch, the moment the last hostage or body is out, Israel's going to go in and wipe them out. Ain't gonna happen.
Well, there was even a report that it is well, I guess, is well known to the government that that Hamas is already going and repairing the tunnels.
Yep. This is this is astounding. Now, it's very gratifying to hear American Secretary of State Marco Rubio talk about how Hamas cannot govern. But the European Union, I mean, the European Union is a- an extension of Islam. Europe is gone.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. That much of Europe, the influence of Islam. I saw it when I was in Belgium years ago.
Yeah.
It
And that
is,
was years ago. And that
yeah.
was years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah. What about Germany? What about this turn with Germany toward conservatism?
We'll see if it holds.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the whole thing. You see, that's the one thing about a parliamentary democracy, as all the democracies in the world are, except for the US. And please, none of our listeners, please don't write me and tell me America's a republic, not a
yeah,
democracy. I apologize for my English. I spent the last few days in New York City. What do you expect from me? I should get back to New York City in a moment, in speaking. So it's really kind of odd and unusual. Totally knocked my train of thought off. Um, okay, it'll come back to me. So, but in New York City, I went to a demonstration.
yeah.
It's been a minute, as I posted on, it's been a minute since I've been in demonstration in New York. This was a rally on behalf of the hostages. I got there late. It wasn't convenient to where I was staying, but I did go. It was touching to see a rally in America. Jewish community in particular across the US has done a good job in that sense. But as I traveled around America, honestly, I was disappointed that more wasn't being done. And what I noticed, and again, among the people that I know in the places that invite me to come and speak, you have to understand these are obviously the most pro-Israel, being part of Israel, you name it. Okay? The best of the best. But what I found even among these people either there's a small group that does a lot,
Hmm.
like you, Mike, does a lot, and most of the others just kind of sit, just kind of, nodding and nodding. nodding and nodding.
Hmm.
When I say to people, it's well, we our community, we're not in a big city. We don't have. So I said, what about going on a Sunday near some big church nearby, have an American flag and an Israeli flag, or if you don't have an Israeli flag, just an American flag, and stand and hand out flyers of information. You don't have to be an expert. It's like you say all the time, why don't people share our videos more? You put out so many videos over a week. I There's so much more that
Yeah.
people can do. When I spoke about activism, it wasn't just like a walk down memory lane for me.
Mhm.
This was kind of like, why aren't y'all doing this stuff?
Mhm. Well, I got one for you.
Yeah.
This is kind of like where did this come from? Uh, Kathy and I will be, God willing, going to Blairsville on next Tuesday, which
Where's
Blairsville
Blairsville?
is next to Hayesville.
Oh, North
Okay,
Carolina.
just
Okay.
just kind of down from Hayesville there, one of your favorite
Okay.
spots. But the Union County Rotary, in partnership with Blairsville City Council, Cabot, rural Georgia, I didn't know there was one, and in support of the Daffodil Project. Okay, put all that together. Will dedicate a daffodil garden in honor of the children killed in the Holocaust.
Wow.
Blairsville Town Park behind City Hall.
Wow.
That is on March 4th at 11:30 a.m.
You know, I I'm kind of shocked. I mean, it's kind of like you have to remember the Shoah ended in 1945.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth, but why now? And and now I understand I'd be asking a lot to say plant a garden for those that were slaughtered in Israel on October 7th. The fact that they're doing this, I think is amazing. I
It
honestly,
is.
I think
It
it's
is.
amazing.
And I had actually had an appointment that I had to make some change. It was a very difficult appointment to make a change, but I made that. And I have one of the dog tags, an extra dog tag from the Bring Them Home now that I'm going to actually take and hopefully be able to find the person that I can give that to so they can make that a part of the garden there.
Wonderful. I love hearing things about initiative. I love hearing people do things. There were too many places that there were too many conversations that I had across the US where I was reviewing in my mind the proper methodology of CPR because I found so many of these people needed to be resuscitated.
Yeah, I know.
Now, from what I understand, they're teaching CPR to the tune of "Staying Alive." You
Okay.
know, I mean,
It's
we
jet
didn't
lag,
have that
folks. Give him a
back in
break.
the day.
He's
Yeah.
delusional. It's time for Hunlock's nap. Oh well.
So it's too early to talk about, but I have decided that I will be coming back in the summer,
Okay.
somewhere approximately around mid-June to approximately around mid-August.
Okay.
It's likely to be 20 locations. It'll be a little longer trip. Um, I had some very good feedback
Yeah.
this time, actually the last two or three times during the war. We'll see. And
There you go.
I'm already compiling a list of things to include.
Good. Good.
Amazing.
A couple things happening on my side is this weekend I will be with mutual friends Craig and Jan Odell at Gates to Zion, Columbia, South Carolina.
Wonderful.
You need to prepare yourself because Bill and Rebecca are about to land in Tel Aviv at any time, and I'll be following pretty soon.
Great.
So look
Wonderful
forward
news.
to look forward to catching up with you there, and It's going to be I'm looking forward to the trip. I think it's going to be an incredible time. My thanks to those who have given, have sent extra to help with my trip. And also for, I just want to give a word of thanks, not only for those who have helped you and, and continue to help you make this, what you're doing possible, but on behalf of everyone here, thanks for the effort that you put out to be here
Well,
and to bring
certainly,
a
thank you,
very
buddy.
timely message. So,
Thank you. Thanks
all
very
right.
much, man.
Look forward
Talk
to
soon.
hopefully a 1 minute on the Temple Mount on Sunday, maybe.
Hoping on Sunday. Yeah,
We'll see. All right.
it's
Take care,
that
man.
time. Take care. Bye bye.